Chapter 21, Born with the Supreme Sword Bone, a Big Reward Package. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This was the first time she had such a strange feeling with someone. Su Lingyun subconsciously used her consciousness to check Ye Chen's aura. To her surprise, this young man did not have any fluctuations in his cultivation. He is completely immortal. Did I have an illusion just now? Is this person really immortal? Su Lingyun began to doubt herself. Tao Yaoyao was greatly surprised when she discovered that her senior sister's attention was actually on a boy of the opposite sex. Senior sister Su Lingyun has countless suitors in Luoyue Holy Land, but no one can catch her eye. Could it be that she fell in love with a mortal? Tao Yaoyao jokingly said, "Senior sister, that man is indeed handsome, don't you think so?" Su Lingyun nodded subconsciously. He is indeed handsome. But as soon as he finished speaking, he noticed something was wrong, and quickly blushed and glared at the smiling Tao Yaoyao. "Senior sister, there are so many super talented and handsome guys in the Holy Land, and many of them have very rich family backgrounds. Why do you fall in love with a mortal instead?" "Oh, I understand, you have the seeds of rebellion in your heart." Tao Yaoyao's face was full of smiles, and it was the first time she saw a blushing expression on her senior sister's face. Su Lingyun reached out and was about to give this poor-mouthed little girl a fat beating. "Senior sister, all joking aside, if the geniuses in the Holy Land know that you are looking for a mortal, it will be a huge disaster for them." Tao Yaoyao restrained her teasing tone and said seriously. Su Lingyun said helplessly, "I'm not interested in him, I just think he's a little strange." After taking another look at Ye Chen, Su Lingyun continued to pay attention to the qualification test. One after another, people who were brushed off left in frustration. Zhang San, 3-star qualification, failed. Lin Bei, 2-star qualification, get out of here. Wang Junjie, 4-star qualification, go ahead. At the Qingshu Sword Sect, one of the elders in charge of testing qualifications became impatient. Why are there still these crooked melons and cracked dates after a whole day? Deng Tiancheng, 5-star qualification, meets the standard. At this time, a genius with 5-star qualifications finally appeared. The young people around him all cast envious and jealous looks. The young man named Deng Tiancheng raised his head proudly, looking like a master. From now on, he is no longer an ordinary person, and the people around him are not even qualified to look up to him. Su Jian, 1-star qualification, garbage among garbage, get out of here. At this time, the elder in charge of the test cursed angrily at a young man who did not meet the standards, and wanted to kick this loser with only 1-star qualifications down the mountain. The people around him laughed at Su Jian, mocking him crazily. Although everyone was not selected, they felt much better when they saw someone worse than themselves. Surrounded by ridicules from all directions, Su Jian lowered his head and left silently, as if thousands of sharp swords were piercing his chest. Why can't I even reach the 5-star qualification? Am I not born suitable for cultivation? Su Jian felt extremely painful in his heart. He was burdened with a blood feud. He thought he could avenge his parents after he succeeded in practicing. As a result, he didn't even have a chance to practice. At this time, a bitter and harsh voice sounded in my ears. "Hey, how come you have a 1-star talent?" "Oh, it turns out to be Su Jian." Ha, I'm sorry, I, Deng Tiancheng, actually have a 5-star qualification and decided to join the Qingshu Sword Sect. From now on, we will be people from 2 different worlds. By the way, just kneel down and beg me. When I succeed in my studies, I may help you avenge your parents. Ha. Deng Tiancheng, who had just been envied by everyone, appeared in an airy manner, and his harsh words made people extremely uncomfortable. He and Su Jian both came from the same place. Su Jian was too upright and Deng Tiancheng bullied others all day long, so the two never dealt with each other. Now that Deng Tiancheng is about to skyrocket, Su Jian has been judged to have 1-star qualifications, which makes Deng Tiancheng extremely happy. "Deng Tiancheng, don't be arrogant. One day I will push you to the ground and beat you." Su Jian roared at Deng Tiancheng. This guy deliberately used the death of his parents to stimulate him. His intentions were really sinister. However, Deng Tiancheng smiled even brighter. Ha, then I'll wait for you to beat me to death. But what a waste with your 1-star qualifications. No sect in the entire wild immortal world is willing to take you in. Accept your fate. Deng Tiancheng punished every word. Su Jian wanted to refute, but when he thought about his extremely rubbish 1-star qualifications, he was speechless and couldn't say a word. In the distance, Su Lingyun and Tao Yaoyao also noticed the quarrel. The talent is too poor, only 1 star, alas. Su Lingyun sighed, this world is very realistic. If you have strength, you have the right to speak. If you don't have strength, just shut up. She sympathized with Su Jian's experience, but she had to admit that Su Jian, who only had 1-star qualifications, would never be able to turn around in his life, unless a miracle happens. Just when Su Jian was silently enduring the ridicule from Deng Tiancheng, a tall young figure appeared in front of him. It was Ye Chen. Su Jian, join my sect and become your teacher. I will help you practice. Ye Chen said calmly. Su Jian, born with the supreme sword bone, not yet awakened, has emperor-level qualifications. This is Su Jian's qualification, emperor level. The reason why the star platform cannot detect it is because the supreme sword bone has not awakened yet. If it awakens, the star platform will probably explode. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Huh? Me? Su Jian looked confused. Is this person talking about himself? He wants to take him to practice. Did he hear it right? He is obviously a 1-star talent, the kind that even dogs don't accept, but someone actually took the initiative to accept him as a disciple. Yes, I'm talking about you. Ye Chen nodded. Su Jian looked at this young man who seemed to be about the same age as himself, not knowing whether he should believe it. The other party is just a teenager, what qualifications does he have to accept disciples? But when he thought of his rubbish qualifications, Su Jian finally stopped hesitating and quickly agreed. After all, it's good that there is a sect willing to take him in. As long as he can practice, he doesn't care about the size of the sect. Besides, he is a waste, and there is no need for the other party to lie to him. Disciple Su Jian, meet the master. Su Jian knelt down and kowtowed, in a very decent manner. Okay. From today on, you are my 3rd disciple. Ye Chen smiled with satisfaction. The system also gave a prompt immediately. Ding. Successfully accepted the disciple, Su Jian, born with supreme sword bone, emperor-level qualifications. The disciple accepting reward has been issued, please check it out. However, the people around were dumbfounded, not knowing what Ye Chen and Su Jian were acting. Just now, Su Jian's qualification was 1 star, and everyone nearby heard it. This is the rubbish among rubbish. There are actually people who take the initiative to accept him as a disciple. The most incredible thing is that the disciple is actually just a teenager of the same age, and he doesn't even have a little fluctuation in cultivation. Funny. Too funny. Chapter 22 caused huge turmoil, everyone went crazy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This scene simply stunned everyone nearby. A young man with no fluctuations in cultivation, took a 1-star loser as his apprentice. Even storytellers wouldn't dare to make up stories like this. After a short period of days, the people around couldn't help but burst into thunderous laughter. Ha ha ha, brother, which sect are you from? What level of cultivation did you reach to come out to take in a disciple? I've never heard of anyone willing to take in a 1-star loser as a disciple. I can laugh at this for a whole year. That's not how you pick up a bargain, right? Who wouldn't laugh at you if you picked up a 1-star loser? If you want to pick up, you should pick a 4-star one, right? Don't say it. This brother himself has no fluctuations in cultivation, and he's still learning to take in a disciple. I guess he's a charlatan. That everyone around couldn't help but laugh at Ye Chen and Su Jian. In the eyes of everyone, the two of them were clowns who came out specifically to be laughed at. Not far away, Su Lingyun and Tao Yaoyao also found it very funny. Su Lingyun was even more convinced that she had misjudged the person before. The boy was just an ordinary person, with nothing good except for his handsome appearance. Senior sister, do you think that person is a genius? But we can't see it. Tao Yaoyao even joked, no one thought that Su Jian was really a genius, it was just a joke of Tao Yaoyao. Su Lingyan covered her smile with her hand and taught him a lesson. Yaoyao, why are you laughing at me like that? We have been professionally trained and we don't laugh under normal circumstances. Oh. Tao Yaoyao pouted. Su Jian, on the other hand, could face it calmly even when being laughed at by so many people. Ye Chen first checked the reward treasures. Reward, a primitive sword palace. Reward, 2 fairy king summoning cards. Reward, Zhuxian sword array. Reward, the skill eternal sword Dao, emperor level. Reward, a sutra pavilion. Reward, 100 true dragon immortal elixirs. Seeing these rewards, Ye Chen felt very satisfied. It was really worthy of being a reward for the emperor-level qualifications. The things were good. The rest can be checked later. For now, I will pass the eternal sword Dao to Su Jian to help him awaken the supreme sword bone. When Ye Chen checked the system information, Deng Tiancheng, who was very arrogant just now, laughed the loudest at this time. Ha ha ha. I'm fucking laughing to death. Ha ha ha. Su Jian, someone finally collected your garbage. Garbage should stay in the garbage dump, but I'm different. I'm about to become a disciple of the Qingshu sword sect. You can only look up to me for the rest of your life. Deng Tiancheng laughed so hard that he almost pounded the floor tiles. Ye Chen ignored the outside world. He pointed a finger at Su Jian's brow and said to him, now, I'm going to activate your physique and teach you the skills at the same time. Su Jian was not ready yet. In an instant, he felt that his soul seemed to be in another world. His body was sublimating, countless meridians were unblocked, and blood and bones were transforming. Especially the spine on his back was exuding a shocking sword intent, which soared directly into the sky and turned into an illusory giant sword that broke through the sky. The terrifying sword intent spread out in all directions with his body as the center, like a hurricane that could destroy everything. All the swords within a range of thousands of miles were trembling, as if they were surrendering, and also as if they were excited. This strange phenomenon made many people terrified, and they hurriedly pressed down their swords, fearing that their swords would escape their control. Moreover, the movement was so loud that it had alarmed many high-level leaders of the sections. In the Qingshu sword sect, the sect master felt this amazing sword intent and saw the shadow of the towering giant sword that pierced the sky, and his jaw almost dropped to the ground. It's the legendary supreme bone. It must be, it's the supreme sword bone, that the Qingshu sect master screamed. The other high-ranking members of the sect also showed up. They were usually very serious, but now their faces were full of shock. Yes, according to the ancient records, the phenomenon of the supreme sword bone coming out is like this. This is the legendary supreme sword bone. Our Qingshu sword sect only produced one 30,000 years ago. We must collect this one today. It's rich. Our Qingshu sword sect is going to be rich. Will we cultivate a sword Dao Immortal Emperor in the future? These high-ranking members of the Qingshu sword sect became more and more excited. Thinking that they might really cultivate a sword Dao Immortal Emperor in the future, they all trembled all over. Stop talking nonsense, hurry to the Fulong Mountains to have a look. We must bring the supreme sword bone back to the sect as soon as possible, that the leader of the Qingshu sect shouted, and then he waved his Taoist robe, and the whole person turned into a stream of light that could not be captured by the naked eye, and rushed towards the Fulong Mountains. Other high-ranking members of the sect followed closely, and it can be said that the entire sect was dispatched. Not only the Qingshu sword sect has made a big move, but also the Haran Pavilion, Jibaoshan sect, Guiyuan sect, Ingyue sect, Tiangang Dao sect. These powerful sects have all been dispatched. A supreme sword bone is worthy of everyone's attention. If a genius with 9-star qualifications can directly become a true disciple, then the owner of the supreme sword bone can be trained as an heir. 10 geniuses with 9-star qualifications are not as good as one supreme sword bone. It can be said that all the well-known sects in the entire Luoyue realm have been dispatched, and they are determined to get this supreme sword bone. At this time, in the Fulong Mountains, Su Jian, who had awakened the supreme sword bone, let out a long roar, and a terrifying wave swept out in all directions. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content below. His cultivation level actually rushed directly to the foundation establishment stage. You know, just now he was just a scum who was still struggling in the body refining stage, but in the blink of an eye, he rushed from the body refining stage to the chi refining stage, and then to the foundation establishment stage, and this process was not hindered at all. Finally, all the strange phenomena disappeared, and the towering giant sword was also retracted into his spine. Su Jian, who felt the surging power in his body, had never felt so powerful, as if he could swing dozens of sword chi with just one hand. His understanding of the sword is thousands and tens of thousands times more than before. In his eyes, this world seems to be a world composed of sword intent. This is the superiority of the natural supreme sword bone. Thank you, Master. I will never forget your kindness. I am willing to sacrifice my life for you. Su Jian, who had been completely transformed, knelt down on the ground with great gratitude and kowtowed to Ye Chen several times. Ye Chen smiled and accepted the kneeling of his disciple. Disciple, you already have the power. You don't need your master to remind you what to do, right? Ye Chen said. Su Jian suddenly looked at Deng Tiancheng, who had been mocking him and humiliating him with his dead parents, and his killing intent burst out. Before, he had no strength, so he swallowed his anger. But now, he wants to take back his dignity. He wants to kill this beast who humiliated his parents. Su Jian. We are from the same place, and we have a relationship. Don't kill me. I was wrong, I was really wrong. Deng Tiancheng had been completely frightened by Su Jian's supreme sword bone vision just now. Now he met his murderous eyes again, and he knelt down on the ground, crying and begging for mercy. He never thought that the good-for-nothing who he could humiliate just now would completely transform in the blink of an eye. What happened? It's useless. I will kill you. Su Jian gritted his teeth, seeing that begging for mercy failed. Deng Tiancheng was forced into a desperate situation, and threatened with a ferocious face. I am already half a disciple of Qingshu's sword sect. If you kill me, you will be against Qingshu's sword sect. Dare to touch me? Hearing this, Su Jian really paused. Qingshu's sword sect was too powerful. Would he bring trouble to his master? But he got recognition from Ye Chen's eyes, so he no longer hesitated. He put his index finger and middle finger together to form a sword and cut out a sharp sword energy. Deng Tiancheng, die. Chapter 23 Big Moves by Various Sects. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Heads on the ground. Deng Tiancheng will die with his eyes open. Until he dies, he will never think that his beautiful life in the Qingshu sword sect has not even begun and he is already dead. Moreover, he was killed by Su Jian, whom he looked down upon the most, with one move. Blood splattered, scaring the people around him to retreat. Looking at Su Jian with fear in his eyes, Taiwan Novel Network, especially the people who were laughing at him with Deng Tiancheng just now, kept their mouths shut tightly and quietly squeezed into the crowd, for fear of attracting his attention. Although these young people who have never seen the world don't know what the supreme sword bone is, but they also know that the big noise Su Jian made just now is enough to show that he is not as simple as he appears. When facing him, everyone felt like they were facing countless sharp swords that had just been sharpened. Not far away, Su Lingyun and Tao Yaoyao were completely dumbfounded. They have already seen that this Su Jian is definitely an unparalleled super genius, and he is suspected to be the legendary Supreme Sword Bone. Supreme Sword Bone. With this kind of physique, you will be invincible in the way of swordsmanship. Once you become an Immortal Emperor of swordsmanship, your killing power will sweep away almost all Immortal Emperors. Su Lingyun's voice was trembling. There are very few geniuses like this in Luoyue Holy Land, let alone Qingshu sword sect. It would be great luck to have one. Who would have thought that a useless person with only 1-star qualifications would turn into the supreme sword bone after being taught by that young man? Senior sister, it seems we have made a mistake. Tao Yaoyao also said weakly. Su Lingyun smiled miserably. More than just a misunderstanding. It's simply blindness. That if they had already known that Su Jian was the supreme sword bone and took him away directly, what else would happen to others? Luoyue Holy Land will also have the appearance of an immortal emperor. We may still have a chance. Who wouldn't want to come to Luoyue Holy Land? Su Lingyun said softly. When it comes to Luoyue Holy Land, she is still very confident. Who in the entire wild immortal world wouldn't want to join a holy land? Moreover, with the cultivation of the Holy Land, the potential of the Supreme Sword Bone can be exerted to its greatest effect, and only then can there be hope of becoming an immortal emperor in the future. She believed that if Su Jian was not stupid, he should join Luoyue Holy Land instead. At this time, many elders responsible for testing qualifications had recovered from the shock and rushed to Su Jian to accept him into the sect. Su Jian, I am the elder of Qingshu Sword Sect. You have amazing talent in swordsmanship. Only our Qingshu Sword Sect is qualified to train you. That the elder who had just driven Su Jian away without mercy was now extremely excited to win over Su Jian, as if he was not the one who wanted to kick Su Jian away just now. Seeing this, Su Jian couldn't help but sneered. This world is really interesting. The elder who had just dismissed him, maintaining his aloof attitude, now became so humble and respectful. How realistic. Su Jian sneered. Elder, if I remember correctly, you told me to get out of here just now. That the elder forced out a smile that was uglier than crying, and explained, how could it be? I knew you were a peerless genius, so I deliberately trained you. As long as you join our Qingshu Sword Sect, your future will skyrocket. That the elder worked hard to win over Su Jian. At this moment, he regretted it very much. If he had been more vicious before, he wouldn't have had so much trouble. Su Jian looked at him like a clown, not moved at all. I'm sorry, I already have a master. Your Qingshu Sword Sect is supreme and I don't dare to reach higher than you. Su Jian said coldly. He couldn't forget how this elder despised him just now. Everything he had now was given by his master. As a result, he turned around and joined another sect. Is this ridiculous? Su Jian cannot do such an ungrateful thing. Oh, him. What qualifications does he have to be your master? He just happened to bump into your awakened physique. It makes no difference whether you have him or not. That the elder scorned Ye Chen's existence and did not think that the awakening of Su Jian's physique was related to Ye Chen. What can a person who doesn't even have a fluctuation in his cultivation level do? However, he didn't know that his slander of Ye Chen had quickly condensed murderous intent in Su Jian's eyes. Although they had only known each other for less than half an hour, he had already determined that Ye Chen was the person who changed his destiny, the person who gave him his talents, and the person who saved his life. Anyone who dares to speak ill of Master is Su Jian's life and death enemy. Ye Chen said calmly, Old Bangzi, you talk too much. He didn't bother bullying the weak. After all, the Immortal Emperor would not do anything that would harm his status, but if a mosquito keeps buzzing in your ear, can you resist swatting it to death? You brat, you. The elder was furious and pointed at Ye Chen to kill him. He thought that as long as Ye Chen was killed, wouldn't Su Jian have no choice but to follow him? But in the end, he didn't even finish his words. With Ye Chen's casual glance, the elder's body instantly vaporized. Not even a drop of blood mist was left behind, and it disappeared into thin air in front of everyone. Wow, everyone nearby couldn't believe their eyes. A big living person just disappeared like this. Not even a sign. What happened? They all knew that the elder's disappearance must be related to Ye Chen, but they didn't know what method Ye Chen used to make the elder disappear. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. Could it be that the elder is really dead? But no one knows how he died. Only Su Lingyun. She was already wide-eyed with horror at this moment, and she didn't notice how Ye Chen made his move, but her huge spiritual sense covered thousands of miles, and she didn't find the elder's breath just now. What does this mean? It means that the man really disappeared out of thin air. What a terrifying method. His strength is far above mine. He is not an ordinary person, but an unfathomable peerless master. Su Lingyun originally wanted to use the name of Luoyue Holy Land to compete with Ye Chen for Su Jian, but how dare she act rashly now? She didn't even dare to guarantee that she could survive in Ye Chen's hands. Although I have the cultivation of the void refining stage, I still can't see his depth. What is his origin? Su Lingyun's eyes were full of fear, and she no longer dared to treat Ye Chen as a mortal. The remaining elders of other sects also saw some clues and dispersed, fearing that they would suddenly evaporate from the world. However, things here are not over yet, because several powerful auras suddenly appeared in the sky. These powerful auras are extremely sharp, just like sword energy soaring into the sky. In the falling moon realm, the only people who can have such momentum are probably the people of the Qingshu sword sect, and the people who came are definitely powerful and extremely powerful. Is it the leader of the Qingshu sword sect? And many of their senior elders? Why did they come with so many people? That the elders who accepted disciples from other sects saw that the Qingshu sword sect actually sent out such a powerful lineup, and they all suspected that they were hallucinating. Even the leader personally came out. How hard did they fight to compete for Su Jian, the natural supreme sword bone? Chapter 24, Fighting for Resources. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As these big guys from the Qingshu sword sect appeared, the entire Fulong mountain range was shocked and couldn't believe their eyes. To them, the leader of the Qingshu sword sect and these high-level elders are outsiders who they are not qualified to see in this life. Now they appear collectively. Terrifying cultivation fluctuations spread out from their bodies, covering the entire Fulong mountains. Not to mention the young people here, even Su Lingyun and Tao Yaoyao, who were born in the Holy Land, feel tremendous pressure. If I'm not wrong, the strength of the leader of the Qingshu sword sect has at least reached the integration stage. Su Lingyun's face was full of solemnity. After all, he is the leader of a sect, so how could he be weak? The Qingshu sword sect is a relatively strong sect in the Luoyue realm, so it is normal for the sect leader to have a cultivation level in the fusion stage. There are 6 more high-level officials like Master Qingshu. In other words, the 6 people from Qingshu sword sect are all at least in the integration stage. Now things are getting serious. That boy has developed a supreme sword bone. I wonder if he can hold it. Tao Yaoyao is no longer as lively and agile as before, and is more cautious. Assuming that he did not have the identity of a disciple of Luoyue Holy Land, he would not know what to do if he faced so many powerful men alone. Perhaps he has his own way. Su Lingyun whispered. She was still frightened when she recalled the scene where Ye Chen made a nascent soul powerhouse vaporize with just one look. At this time, the young man looked indifferent, as if he hadn't realized the seriousness of the matter yet. Qingshu's sect leader immediately saw Su Jian, who was exuding strong sword energy, and his eyes immediately lit up. He was truly worthy of the supreme sword body. Even before I started practicing kendo formally, it was already as sharp as a sword. Wouldn't it be a lot of money if he could become his disciple? Young man, I am the master of the Qingshu sword sect. I know that you are a prodigy in swordsmanship, and I have come to accept you as my disciple. Follow me as your master. Master Qingshu said with a smile. When he revealed his identity, everyone was in an uproar. It is indeed Master Qingshu. The impact of his own admission is quite different. Everyone's eyes were wide open. Master Qingshu, this was the super boss they all wanted to be their disciples in their dreams. If I could be accepted as a disciple by such a big boss, my life would be glorious enough. Everyone looked at Su Jian with great envy, their fiery eyes wanting to kill him and replace him. If it were them, they would have directly agreed to the Qingshu sect leader. However, Su Jian looked extremely calm, as if he had not heard what Master Qingshu said at all. Even the move of Qingshu's sect master personally coming to win over him became extremely ridiculous in his eyes. If I were still a useless person, would a big boss like Master Qingshu come in person to accept me as his disciple? To put it bluntly, didn't Master help him awaken the supreme sword bone first, and then these people set their sights on him? Everyone was waiting for Su Jian to respond. Qingshu sword sect has so many high-level officials, isn't it sincere enough? Qingshu's sect master also frowned displeasedly, knowing that no matter who saw such a battle, he would be so excited that he fainted, because it is an honor for these young people to personally lead a team to recruit disciples. Su Jian had no reason to reject them. Just when Qingshu's sect master was getting impatient and was about to continue to win over him, several powerful auras appeared on the other side of the sky. after getting closer and seeing clearly the clothes of these people, everyone was shocked. Because, isn't this the costume of Harran Pavilion? It's someone from Harran Pavilion. Could it be that the leader of the team is also the leader of Harran Pavilion? It would be too scary if such a big boss personally leads the team. He is really from Harran Pavilion. He must be a high-ranking person. Otherwise, how can he compete with Qingshu's sword sect for people? Damn, all the big guys are here today. It's a feast for the eyes. That everyone was talking in surprise, and all their eyes were focused on the people in Harran Pavilion. Humph. People from Harran Pavilion, what are you doing here? Does it have anything to do with you? Qingshu's sect leader sneered dissatisfiedly. The supreme sword bone must of course belong to a sect that specializes in swordsmanship. Harran Pavilion does not specialize in swordsmanship. Why are they here to join in the fun? Pavilion Master Harran laughed loudly and said, no one can refuse a supreme sword bone. Besides, you are not the only one who can practice swordsmanship from the Qingshu sword sect, right? Then let's each rob people according to their own abilities. Master Qingshu was too lazy to talk nonsense with him. However, Harran Pavilion is just one of its competitors. Then came the big bosses from Jubao Tianzong, Guiyuan sect, Shadow Moon sect, and Tiangang Dao sect. Dozens of figures exuding powerful auras were suspended high in the sky, covering the entire Fulong Mountains. Just the fluctuations in cultivation that escape have already made these low-level young people breathless. Even a strong person like Su Lingyun in the void refining stage is under great pressure. After all, with dozens of strong men in the integration stage hanging over his head, who can withstand them? Everyone couldn't believe that so many big guys appeared at the same time, just to rob one person. Everyone is so envious of Su Jian that if they can get this kind of treatment, this life will be worth it. Damn, I really wish I were Su Jian. I could choose from several sects. It's exciting just to think about it. Young man, my Jubao Tianzong will give you 50,000 spirit stones a year, and you don't have to worry about all kinds of natural treasures. Come to us, you won't suffer any loss. The wealthy Jubao Tianzong leader opened his mouth to recruit. For Jubao Tianzong, there is nothing that can't be solved by a pile of spirit stones. If there is, then it will be super doubled. Spirit stones alone are nothing. Come to our Guiyuan sect, we can train you into an immortal emperor. That the leader of Guiyuan sect also boasted. However, the people of Tiangang Dao sect immediately couldn't help laughing. You Guiyuan sect don't have an immortal emperor yourself, and you say you can train others into immortal emperors. Do you believe it yourself? Why not come to our Tiangang Dao sect? Our foundation is the deepest. The exercises we practice are even emperor-level fragments. It is said to be an emperor-level fragment, but it is actually a relatively complete emperor-level exercise, but the second half is missing. Even if it is an emperor-level incomplete exercise, it is a rare treasure. The most profound skills of other sects are only at the immortal level, and they can never compare to the god-level fragments. All of a sudden, these sects offer their own prices, trying to attract Su Jian's heart. These prices were raised layer by layer, and they were shocked to a crazy degree. Not to mention the young people who had no experience here. Even Su Lingyun, who was born in the Falling Moon Holy Land, was moved. I have to admire that they really spent a lot of money to win over the supreme sword bone. The various treasures they promised alone are enough to cultivate a holy son or a holy daughter of a holy land. However, Su Jian did not speak from beginning to end, because he had no chance to speak. Finally, the leader of the Qingshu sect snorted unhappily. Young man, I only say one thing. When it comes to the cultivation of sword cultivators, our Qingshu sword sect is the most professional. Now tell me your choice. Chapter 25, I am the only one in the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the leader of Qingshu sect asked, countless eyes were focused on Su Jian. Some people speculated that Su Jian might choose Jubao Tianzong or Tiangang Daozong, but the most likely choice was Qingshu Jianzong. In an instant, the surrounding world seemed to be quiet. Even Su Jian felt a lot of pressure, but he was determined in his heart and would not lose his mind because of any benefits. Taiwan Novel Network. He raised his head and said loudly, I don't choose any sect. I already have a master. It's the one next to me. As soon as these words came out, the whole audience was in an uproar. No one expected that Su Jian's choice would be to choose no one. Although it was the young man who first recognized the pearl, what could the young man give him? Instead of hanging out with a person with no future, why not practice with a powerful sect? Doesn't he know this? Those young people who wanted to replace him were so angry that their teeth were about to break, the sects that they could not even dream of entering, now all invited him, but he didn't choose any of them. It was really infuriating. If they could, they really wanted to beat Su Jian to death and then choose the sect they liked for him. Alas, young people are really ignorant. They can obviously start against the sky, but they have to choose a dead end. If it were me, I would have chosen Qingshu's sword sect a long time ago. Do I still need to think about it? Such a good talent is really wasted on him. How great would it be if it was given to me? Not everyone talked about it with envy or jealousy. The leader of Qingshu's sect and others did not expect that they would eventually wait for such a response. These big men in the fusion period widened their eyes in disbelief, and could hardly believe that this was true. He didn't want such a good situation in front of him, but insisted on following an unknown person. What on earth was he thinking? The leader of the Qingshu sect was even more furious. He had said so much, but you still didn't come. Damn it, if it weren't for you being the supreme sword bone, would have slapped you to death. Young man, you have to think clearly, what can he give you? My Qingshu sword sect is different. I can train you to be a sword Dao Immortal Emperor in the future, that the Immortal Emperor is the strongest in the wild immortal world. For countless years, there have not been many Immortal Emperors in the wild immortal world, that is the ultimate realm that everyone dreams of reaching, but the number of people who can achieve the position of Immortal Emperor is almost zero. Therefore, the title of Sword Dao Immortal Emperor is absolutely coveted. But the big cake he painted was of no use to Su Jian. What Sword Dao Immortal Emperor? You must at least have an Emperor-level technique before you tell me, right? The Master is different. When the Master helped him awaken his physique just now, he also taught him the Emperor-level technique Eternal Sword Dao. This is a complete set of Emperor-level skills, and it is a sword-style skill. Let me ask, which sect present can do it? So, no matter from the perspective of gratitude or reality, it is impossible for me to betray my master. Think it through. I will never betray my master. Seniors, please go back. Su Jian said firmly. Ye Chen was very satisfied with his performance. This kid is loyal and righteous, and it is worth it for me to accept him as a disciple. At this time, Ye Chen also received the latest prompt popped up by the system. The host triggers a random task. Let the name of Kunlun Holy Land resound throughout the falling moon realm. Rewards are issued according to the completion of the task. System, you are really considerate. You popped up a task at this time. Isn't this sending me a treasure? That Ye Chen showed a satisfied smile. It seems that he will operate in the falling moon realm. The Kunlun Holy Land will definitely be famous in the world in the future. Let's start with the falling moon realm. The leader of the Qingshu sect was very dissatisfied with Su Jian's words. All the big men in the fusion stage looked at Ye Chen, and they didn't think Ye Chen was that powerful. Moreover, since Su Jian didn't want to betray his master, it would be easy to solve. As long as he killed this master, he wouldn't be considered a betrayer, right? Killing an insignificant person in order to get the supreme sword bone was not a burden for them. Boy, I advise you to be sensible, otherwise don't blame me for being cruel. That the leader of the Qingshu sect looked at Ye Chen and issued a warning and threat with murderous intent. He did not hide his murderous intent towards Ye Chen, and even the temperature of the entire Fulou Mountains dropped a lot. There were countless invisible sword intents floating in the air. Everyone only felt a painful cutting sensation from all parts of their body, as if as long as they moved slightly, they would be cut into tens of thousands of pieces by the sword intent. Oh no! Su Lingyun cried out inwardly. The leader of the Qingshu sect had a murderous intention. If nothing unexpected happened, he would attack the young man. Although she didn't know Ye Chen, she had a good impression of him at first sight, and her intuition told her that this young man was not simple. Therefore, Su Lingyun had decided to reveal her identity and protect Ye Chen. Her strength was only at the refining void stage, and she was no match for the Qingshu sword sect, but she had the falling moon Holy Land behind her. I believe that no matter how domineering the Qingshu sect master is, he would not dare to go against the falling moon Holy Land. Senior sister, let's get ready to come forward, Tao Yaoyao also said in a low voice. She didn't know why, but she also had a good impression of that strange boy. She could face the pressure from several sects without changing her expression, and even smiled in response. Just this calm and leisurely aura is very attractive. Su Lingyun and Tao Yaoyao were both ready to step in to save Ye Chen. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Countless people around him looked at the silent Ye Chen as if they were watching a joke. Perhaps, this kid is a little weird, but he is facing the entire Qingshu sword sect, and even several powerful sections. Is he still alive today? Master. Su Jian also became nervous. His sense of sword intent is too keen, and he knows better than anyone how terrifying the Qingshu sect master is at this moment. Ye Chen gave him a reassuring look and said softly, "There is a great teacher here, and I am the only one in heaven and on earth." Su Jian was shocked inside. Am I the only one in heaven and on earth? What an amazing momentum. The leader of the Qingshu sect above said coldly, "We have already given you the opportunity you should have given. You are seeking death on your own. You can't blame us." With that said, the leader of the Qingshu sect stretched out his finger towards Ye Chen, transformed into a giant sword hundreds of feet long, and struck at Ye Chen. With just one finger of the boss in the integration stage, he has the astonishing power to break mountains and split the sea. Used to kill a young man, it's just killing a chicken with a sledgehammer. Oops! Su Lingyun's face turned pale with fright. Before she could announce her identity to protect Ye Chen, the other party had acted too quickly, right? No one can stop this sword. The huge sword light was getting bigger and bigger in everyone's eyes, and countless people were in despair. Even if it didn't stab themselves, the aftermath of the power alone could blow them away. At this moment, Ye Chen looked up at Master Qingshu with a half-smile, and then casually snapped his fingers. Crack! With a soft sound, the giant sword that was about to fall on top of the head collapsed. At the same time, the body of Qingshu's sect master also exploded into a cloud of blood mist without any warning, and the smelly blood poured down like rain. Chapter 26 The Alliance of 17 Powerful Fusion Masters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Walala, the blood rain was flying, just like a heavy rain, dyeing the whole sky red, and everyone hadn't come back to their senses at this moment, because, all this happened too quickly, no one could see clearly what happened in such a short time. Everyone only felt a burst of warm raindrops falling on their faces and skin, and then gradually became cold. Everyone looked at Ye Chen in confusion. At this time, he had just snapped his fingers and was about to put his hands down. Then, he looked at the place where the leader of Qingshu's sect was just now, but it was empty. Where was the figure of the leader of Qingshu's sect? Not to mention the figure, even his breath disappeared. What happened just now? Didn't the leader of Qingshu's sect use a huge sword to kill that young man? Someone muttered to himself in a daze. Where is the sword? Where did it go? Did it suddenly disappear? I don't know. It exploded without any warning. What happened? Everyone was in deep confusion. Some people looked around, trying to find the figure of the Qingshu sect master. Why are we covered in blood? Could this blood be? At this time, someone finally came to their senses and found that the blood rain in the sky was not normal. All of a sudden, everyone looked at Ye Chen again, who looked calm and at ease, and realized that it was because he snapped his fingers that these changes happened. He killed the Qingshu sect master with a snap of his fingers. Is it really possible? An unprecedented sense of fear and shock instantly filled everyone's heart. On Su Lingyun's side, she and Tao Yaoyao were already scared silly. Originally, they had to reveal their identities to help Ye Chen save his life. After all, the Qingshu sect master had taken action, and he was in great danger. As a result, he just snapped his fingers and turned the leader of Qingshu's sect into a ball of blood mist. What kind of terrifying strength is this? Looking at Ye Chen's calm and handsome face, Su Lingyun's heart was pounding, full of fear and fear. The sense of oppression brought to her by this young man has exceeded that of most of the high-level people in the Holy Land. It's hard to believe that you can meet a mysterious super strong here. / senior sister, it seems that we don't need to take action. / Tao Yaoyao also said stupidly. Su Lingyun nodded blankly. It seems to be like this at present, and the high-level people of Qingshu Sword Sect, Tiangang Dao Sect, Jubao Tian Sect and other sects were also shocked at this moment, and they couldn't believe their eyes. They knew very well that the strength of the leader of Qingshu Sect was very strong, and there were few opponents among the strong people in the fusion period. In addition to his identity as a sword cultivator, his combat power surpassed the strong people of the same level. Among all the people present, no one dared to say that they could kill the leader of Qingshu Sect with one move. But the problem was that the strange boy did what they couldn't do. What does it mean? It means that his strength is above everyone present. The eyes of these big men in the fusion stage looked at Ye Chen with great fear. Before this, they could not imagine that he actually contained such a huge energy in his body. The most shocked and angry were the senior leaders of Qingshu Sword Sect. When the leader suddenly exploded into a ball of blood mist just now, they didn't feel anything at all. They didn't notice any abnormal fluctuations in cultivation. How did that boy do it? No matter what, their murderous intent surged wildly at this moment. Ye Chen killed their leader. If they didn't even have a little temper, how would the world view them? How dare you? Who are you? Why did you want to kill our leader? Killing our leader is equivalent to declaring war on our Qingshu Sword Sect. Don't you know that? A thug. If you are left alone, you will definitely bring disaster to the entire Luoyue realm. That the remaining 5 elders of Qingshu Sword Sect pointed their swords at Ye Chen and shouted at him loudly, but they didn't dare to do anything. One of the elders was so angry that his beard was flying, and the sword in his hand was even more cold and intimidating, but he didn't dare to kill Ye Chen for a long time. The more they shouted, the more cowardly they looked. Fellow Taoists, this person must be a huge scourge, and he must be eliminated. Let's work together to solve him and avenge our leader. That the senior elder shouted at the strong men of other sects, trying to drag everyone down and stand on the same front with Qingshu Sword Sect, but others are not that stupid. Help you with just a few words. The leader of Jubao Tianzong spoke first. Jubao Tianzong has no control over this matter. In my opinion, it is just a misunderstanding today. Since that young friend refuses to join our sect, Jubao Tianzong should respect and bless him. If there is nothing else, we will leave first. As he said, he quickly slipped away with the senior leaders of Jubao Tianzong. He is not a fool. The young man can kill the leader of Qingshu in seconds, so he can also kill himself in seconds. Jubao Tianzong never does business at a loss, let alone a business that may cost one's life. My Ingyue sect is leaving too. Ingyue sect also knows the situation. Knowing that the other party is mysterious and powerful, why bother to provoke them? Isn't this just sending yourself to death? Fortunately, the person who died was the leader of the Qingshu Sword Sect and had nothing to do with him. Haran Pavilion, suddenly remembered that the elixir refined today has not been fired yet. Let's go back and take a look first. Haran Pavilion just found an excuse and took the people away. The Qingshu Sword Sect was so angry that they were shaking all over. Did 1 or 2 just escape like that? Fellow Taoists, don't leave yet. As long as you help our sect master take revenge, we will give you generous rewards. The elders of Qingshu Sword Sect shouted loudly to the people of Tiangang Dao Sect and Guiyuan Sect who had not yet left. Hearing that there was something to be gained, the people from the Tiangang Dao Sect and the Guiyuan Sect couldn't help but look at each other and felt that they could take action. That strange boy is very powerful, but no matter how powerful he is, he can't possibly deal with 17 masters of the fusion realm at the same time, right? Moreover, when he killed Qingshu Sect Master just now, he probably relied on a strange sneak attack. As long as they are on guard, this strange boy's methods will be greatly reduced. When the 17 masters of the integration stage swarm forward, won't it be easy to capture him? The heads of Guiyuan Sect and Tiangang Dao Sect both said that after they capture Ye Chen, they will decide the price. The Qingshu Sword Sect was being asked for a price by the lion. Although it hurt, there was no other way at the moment. Okay, We can discuss it then. An elder from the Qingshu sword sect gritted his teeth and agreed. In an instant, the 17 super strong men in the integration stage all released their terrifying cultivation auras, turned into a boundless ocean, and crushed towards Ye Chen alone. Chapter 27, Crushing Them All to Death with One Hand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A total of 17 masters in the integration stage. This is very shocking. One master in the integration stage is already very powerful, but now 17 people are attacking together, and only targeting one person. How amazing is this? The terrifying pressure came directly, with Ye Chen as the center. Everyone within a radius of 100 feet was crushed until they vomited blood. This is still the lightest one, and many people bleed to death on the spot. Taiwan Novel Network. The strongest ones are Su Lingyun and Tao Yaoyao, who are in the void refining stage, but even the two of them felt like their bodies and souls were shattered at this moment. Fortunately, at the next moment, an invisible force spread out from Ye Chen's body, completely resolving the joint crushing attack of 17 masters in the integration stage. Fortunately, otherwise, everyone within 100 feet radius would have died. He didn't care whether others died or not, he still wanted to protect his good apprentice Su Jian. Therefore, Su Lingyun and others are just taking advantage of Su Jian. It's interesting, but your power is still too weak to fully interest me, that Ye Chen joked with a faint smile. Everyone looked bitter and didn't know what to say. Brother, can you please stop being so shocking? All 17 of the fusion stage bosses have gathered together, and this lineup can completely crush the Qingshu sword sect. As a result, in his eyes, it still failed to arouse his interest. He still dislikes others for being too weak. What level of power can make him interested? But no one thought that Ye Chen was speaking arrogantly. After all, a person who could instantly kill a master in the integration stage had the right to be so arrogant. Su Lingyun and Tao Yaoyao also felt speechless. This strange boy was too arrogant, even more arrogant than many peerless geniuses in the Holy Land. However, those peerless geniuses will indeed pale in comparison in front of him. People from the Qingshu sword sect, Guiyuan sect, and Tiangang Dao sect were all angered by Ye Chen's words. After all, they are also veteran powerhouses who have been famous for many years. Now they have formed a powerful alliance, and their power is unprecedentedly powerful. How can you endure being despised and humiliated? Formation. On the side of the Qingshu sword sect, the 5 elders formed a huge sword formation called the Shifang Wuji sword formation, which can double their power. Even strong men in the Mahayana stage can only retreat when faced with this sword formation. The 10 Directions Infinite Sword Formation is the strongest sword formation in the Qingshu sword sect. Among many holy level secret methods, it is extremely powerful, even approaching the immortal level secret method. Su Lingyun was obviously very familiar with the secret arts and techniques of these sects, and she recognized the power of this sword formation at a glance. On the Tiangang Daozong side, they also knew that it would be dangerous to separate and fight on their own, so they also chose to form a formation to fight. Tiangang Galaxy Inversion Formation. The people of Tiangang Dao sect roared loudly, and each person's breath was like a dragon. They were connected in a very mysterious way, and more powerful power was erupted. Buzz. In an instant, a huge formation covering the sky appeared, in which a little starlight was reversed, which was very magical. Not to be outdone, the people of Guiyuan sect formed a flaming glacier formation. The two extreme forces collided with each other, creating a more domineering killing power. The 10 Directions Infinite Sword Formation, the Tiangang Galaxy Inversion Formation, and the Flaming Glacier Formation. 3 terrifying formations burst out at the same time, as if they were going to destroy everything and rush towards Ye Chen, trying to wipe him out completely. Sensing Su Jian's strong uneasiness, Ye Chen gently pressed his arm and said to him, "Disciple, you have to remember that as a member of the Kunlun Holy Land, the first thing you have to do is for Mount Tai to collapse before you." His face does not change. Your character still needs to be tempered. You can ask your senior brother and sister for advice when you have time. Ye Chen reminded. With his comfort, Su Jian's mood became much calmer. Disciple understands. Little did they know that everyone outside was shocked. At such a critical moment, where life and death were at stake, he still had the time to teach his disciples. Does he really not care about his own safety? In the blink of an eye, the power of the three formations had crushed Ye Chen's head, as if he could be wiped out from this world in the next moment. However, just when everyone thought Ye Chen was helpless, they saw him raising his palms to support himself. The power of those three formations was actually resisted by an invisible force, and they could no longer drop even a little bit. The people from the three sects all suppressed their faces and turned red, and the power in their bodies was pushed to the extreme by them, but no matter what, the three formations just couldn't crush it any further. Ye Chen leisurely educated Su Jian, disciple, our Kunlun Holy Land is not weaker than any force. There is no need to take these cats and dogs seriously. Su Jian was so excited that his face flushed red and he nodded vigorously. Damn, master is so fierce. He completely understood what his master said. The master could block the full force attacks of three large formations with one hand. With this strength, what reason was there to be afraid of the Qingshu sword sect? With Ye Chen's guidance, Su Jian's vision also improved rapidly. This is the vision you should have as a disciple of Kunlun Holy Land. Disciple, watch carefully. Ye Chen tightened his fingers and clenched them tightly. At the same time, this invisible force also tightly grasped the power of the three formations. Boom! I heard a thunderous roar, and the three formations were crushed by Ye Chen. The terrifying power of the formation poured out immediately. If all these powers fell on the Fulong Mountains, this chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. The Fulong Mountains must be completely flattened. Everyone was extremely terrified, because even if these powers leaked a little bit, it would be enough to kill all of them. Only now did they understand what ants meant. Aren't they ants? Fortunately, under Ye Chen's control, this power had no chance to leak out, and finally disappeared on its own. Puff! The strong men of the three major sects suffered a strong backlash, and they vomited blood and flew backwards, which was horrible. Impossible! Impossible! Why can't even the three major formations do anything to him? They fell into deep fear. When their strongest means had no effect on others, they finally understood what there are always people better than you means. What kind of person did they offend? The people from Tiangang Dao sect and Guiyuan sect were the most regretful. They agreed to help because they were obsessed with money. As a result, they have now lost their lives. Damn, crushing three major formations with one hand and severely injuring 17 fusion stage masters, is this something a human can do? The super master pretended to be a newbie to fry fish, right? Senior, this matter is caused by our obsession. The people from Tiangang Dao sect hurriedly begged for mercy, wanting to save their lives. It's a pity that from the moment they attacked Ye Chen, they were doomed to die. Ye Chen's palm closed again, as if he controlled the entire world. The 17 fusion stage masters were just little bugs struggling in his palm. He moved his palm and crushed them to death effortlessly. The majestic blood rain poured down again. This time, the world was silent. Chapter 28. The deadline is 3 days, and they come one by one. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The cold blood rained randomly on his face. Perhaps after experiencing a similar situation, everyone was no longer so frightened and shocked. Maybe they also acquiesced to one thing in their hearts, that is, this young man is unfathomable. As soon as he takes action, he will know the limit of this realm. However, the scene of killing 17 combined stage bosses with one hand was still deeply engraved in everyone's souls. I'm afraid they won't have the chance to have a similar experience in the future. The whole place was silent. Everyone wiped the blood from their faces silently, and then turned to look at Ye Chen, who had a calm expression. At this time, Ye Chen's body was spotless, and his white clothes were still as white as snow, elegant and quiet. It was as if he wasn't the one who just crushed the 17 integration stages with one hand. Su Jian's blood boiled with excitement. So his master was so powerful. Then will I be able to reach the height of master in the future? When he thought of this, he had great expectations for the future. Agreeing to become master's disciple is really the best decision I have made in my life. Disciple, let's go. It's hard to come to Luoyue realm. You have to walk around first, right? Ye Chen waved toward Su Jian and left amid the stunned expressions of everyone. Only then did Mu Yan and Guang Luo run over. Master, you were so brave just now. This disciple is so proud. Mu Yan smiled and flattered, then looked at Su Jian behind him, and took the lead in saying hello. This is the third junior brother, right? Let me introduce you, I am senior brother Mu Yan, and this is second senior sister Guang Luo. Of course, you can call her sister-in-law, no problem. Mu Yan raised his eyebrows proudly. Senior brother. Senior sister. Su Jian greeted the two of them somewhat cautiously. He was surprised to find that senior brother Mu Yan's body seemed to be a melting pot, exuding amazing energy all the time. And the feeling of senior sister is ethereal, as if she is far away, but also seems to be in front of you. It feels very mysterious. It seems that senior brother and senior sister are not ordinary people, and their talents are not inferior to theirs at all. What kind of sect did you join? Master, where is our sect? This disciple wants to visit the sect. Su Jian said with great anticipation. The master is so powerful, and the senior brothers and sisters are incredibly talented, so what kind of sect is Kunlun Holy Land? Mu Yan smiled mysteriously. Junior brother, you will be surprised when you return to the sect. Hearing what he said, Su Jian felt even more itchy. However, Ye Chen had no plans to return to the sect yet, so the system issued a temporary task, asking him to spread the reputation of Kunlun Holy Land throughout the Luoyue realm. There is still too little progress on this task. Don't worry, I heard that the Xuanhuan Tower in Luoyue realm has the best songs to listen to. Let's listen to the songs first. If those sects don't come to us in 3 days, we will go to those sects to appease their injured hearts. Ye Chen said with a smile, he is not a kind person. Qingshu Sword Sect, Guiyuan Sect, and Tiangang Dao Sect were all planning to kill him, but he had just destroyed a few of their core leaders. How could this be done? Appease? Guang Luo's face was full of confusion. Mu Yan and Su Jian were also confused. They thought they were coming to seek revenge. How could it be comfort? Ye Chen sighed and said, that's right, you must always remember that the philosophy of our Kunlun Holy Land is to be confident and self-reliant, and to convince others with reason. These sects have lost their sect leaders, so they must be very unhappy. We are not unreasonable people, and it is our duty to come to the door and do a good job of comforting them. Hearing what he said, the 3 disciples seemed to understand. Although I don't know what master means, it sounds very reasonable. Soon, the 4 masters and apprentices of Ye Chen arrived at Xuanhuan Tower, drinking wine and eating meat while listening to a ditty leisurely. The person in charge of singing the little songs was the Oiran from Xuanhuan Tower. She had a really good voice, but the songs she sang were too vulgar and not the type that Ye Chen liked. You guys in Xuanhuan don't update the tunes you sing over and over again. I'm going to teach you a tune. Just learn it. Ye Chen drank a bottle of wine and became more interested. He taught her one of the most popular songs in his previous life at Blue Star on the spot. Your slight smile is as beautiful as a cock. Soon, the song Black Plum Chicken Sauce spread in Xuanhuan Tower. The new tunes and styles were welcomed by everyone. At the same time, the news that Ye Chen was going to visit various sects in 3 days spread quickly, and almost everyone knew about it. It caused a sensation in the Luoyue realm. What the hell, who is this Kunlun Holy Land? They actually said they would visit all the major forces in 3 days. Doesn't that sound arrogant? Holy Land. Never heard of this Holy Land in Luoyue realm. I have never heard of this Holy Land, including Dongxing continent and even the entire wild immortal world. Where did they come from? It can't be a fake Holy Land, right? Any cat or dog would dare to say that it is a holy land. Aren't you afraid of violating the karma of the Holy Land? That when the news spread, many people who didn't know the reason felt very ridiculous. They all thought that it was obvious that a little-known sect deliberately touched the porcelain Holy Land in order to be conspicuous. They even clamored to visit various major sects. The purpose is to quickly increase your reputation. Many people regard Kunlun Holy Land as a joke, thinking that those sects will definitely come to trouble Kunlun Holy Land. This chapter is not over yet. Please click the next page to continue reading. Just wait and see. However, the news that came out stunned those who did not know the truth. That is, at the Genius Exchange meeting in Fulong Mountains, the master of Kunlun Holy Land slapped the core leaders of the three major sects, Guiyuan sect, Qingshu Sword sect, and Tiangang Dao sect, to death with a slap. Wow! Once this news spread, it caused a super explosion in the entire Luoyue realm. You know, the core leaders of the Qingshu Sword sect and other sects are at least strong people in the fusion stage. Their sect master is even a peak master in the fusion stage. Such strength may not be the top in the entire wild immortal world, but it is definitely not a soft persimmon that can be squeezed by anyone. This level of master can actually be slapped to death by someone. Is it true? In addition to being deeply shocked, many people found it unbelievable. After all, this kind of thing was too outrageous and sounded like a rumor. Many people even thought that this was a lie deliberately made up by the Kunlun Holy Land in order to enhance its reputation. Using several major sects as stepping stones is just to highlight itself. Anyway, even if it is confirmed to be a rumor, the Kunlun Holy Land has achieved the purpose of spreading its reputation. But those who have personally experienced it in the Fulong Mountains immediately jumped out to tell their stories, and swore that what they said was true. The Lord of the Kunlun Holy Land did kill the leaders of the three major sects and the core senior leaders with his own strength. If only one or two people said so, no one would believe it, but when thousands, even hundreds of thousands or millions of people say so, you can't help but believe it. Chapter 29, The Disciples' Crazy Breakthrough, The Awakened Ancestor in the Tribulation Period. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There were more than hundreds of thousands of people in the Fulong Mountains at that time. The total number definitely exceeds hundreds of millions. However, only those people close to Ye Chen really knew what happened. After these people left the Fulong Mountains, they couldn't wait to share what they saw and heard. The rumors are not false. I saw it with my own eyes. The master of Kunlun Holy Land first slapped the master of Qingshu to death, which angered the three major sects. The three major sects directly arranged a large formation, trying to bully the few with more, but the result was not enough to slap them in the face. TSK, 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 you guys can't believe it, that action is as easy and casual as swatting a fly, it's incredible. 17. A total of 17 integration periods, just shoot him to death. It's exciting just thinking about it. I don't know where this Kunlun Holy Land came from. Isn't it really a holy land? That with the personal accounts of these people who have experienced it, the credibility is getting higher and higher. I was also on the Fulong Mountains at that time. Although I was too far away and couldn't see clearly, those big guys were indeed killed with one hit. Damn it, no wonder I felt so scared and horrified at that time. It turned out that we all walked through the gate of hell without knowing it. So what the Kunlun Holy Land said is true. Will they really come to the door one by one in 3 days? After learning that Kunlun Holy Land was not bragging, everyone began to look forward to 3 days later. Which sects came to Kunlun Holy Land to settle accounts first, or did Kunlun Holy Land come to them? The entire Luoyue realm turned into a large-scale melon-eating scene, and everyone was waiting for 3 days to pass. The three sects, Jubao Tianzong, Shadow Moon Sect, and Haran Pavilion, have been secretly observing the situation. Although they wisely did not go against Ye Chen in the end, they were still worried that Ye Chen would include them, but fortunately, it seems that there is nothing wrong with me now. In the void thousands of miles away from Xuanhuan Pavilion, Master Haran, Master Ingyue, and Master Jubao had lingering fears. Most of the senior officials of those three sects are dead, and their strength is no longer what it used to be. I can't imagine if we also encountered such a disaster. The leader of Jubao sect shook his head and sighed. Fortunately, he ran away quickly when he saw that the situation was not good, otherwise the end would be extremely miserable. Qingshu Sword sect is used to being arrogant, and now they are in trouble. I wonder what the origin of Kunlun Holy Land is. A holy land suddenly appeared somewhere, that the three of them got together to discuss the matter, and they were all glad that they did not go against Kunlun Holy Land, otherwise, the consequences will be disastrous. No matter what, Kunlun Holy Land is not something we can offend. When we return, we will tell our disciples not to offend anyone in Kunlun Holy Land, not even a dog. Pavilion Master Haran said seriously, he was really scared. On the Fulong Mountains, Ye Chen's snap of his fingers exploded the leader of the Qingshu sect, and his slap that crushed 17 strong men in the integration stage, it all made him feel desperate. After we return, we will close the mountain for 3 years. It's best not to get involved in the outside world, that the leader of the Shadow Moon sect said with a very solemn expression. However, the sect master of Jubao Tianzong could still laugh at this moment. Hey, isn't this an opportunity for us? Those 3 sects are finished, won't our opportunity come? I also want to know, what will happen in 3 days? The 3 sect masters are now watching the fire from afar, ignoring the matter as it has nothing to do with themselves anyway, they can just wait and watch the show. As for the Qingshu Sword sect, the entire sect was shocked as soon as they learned of the death of their sect leader, especially when the 5 elders of the fusion stage died. The entire Qingshu Sword sect fell into an unprecedented panic. A total of 6 masters of the integration stage, including the sect leader, are just gone. For Qingshu Sword sect, this is a huge disaster. Having lost so much top combat power all at once, the overall strength of the Qingshu Sword sect has been cut off. If nothing else goes wrong, the Qingshu Sword sect in the future will have to tighten its power and can no longer maintain a high profile. Moreover, after the sleeping ancestors received the news, they also woke up one after another to take charge of the overall situation and maintain the operation of the sect. In the main hall of Qingshu Sword sect, there are more than a dozen powerful masters of the integration stage gathered. The most eye-catching ones are the 3 old men. They are the ancestors of Qingshu Sword sect, and their strength has reached the stage of transcending tribulation. It is only 1 step away from the realm of true immortality. They were originally the strongest people in the sect, and they only wanted to break through to the true fairyland. They will not wake up until the sect is destroyed, but this time, even the sect leader is gone. If they don't wake up, the entire sect's hearts will be scattered. After listening to the information, the 3 ancestors in the Tribulation Period fell into deep thought. A person who can easily crush 17 masters in the integration stage to death with 1 slap has at least reached the level of cultivation in the Mahayana stage, and is at the top level. Or, the other party is already in the Tribulation Period like yourself. This matter is too important. The opponent's strength is unknown, and we have suffered heavy losses, so it is not easy to act rashly. An ancestor said in a gloomy voice. It's not that they are coward, but that the most important task of their 3 ancestors is to break through to the realm of true immortals. As long as they reach the level of true immortal, Qingshu Sword sect will be able to regain its vitality, return to its peak, or even surpass it. Until then, they prefer to err on the side of caution. Many elders were dissatisfied with such a decision, but since the ancestor made the decision, they had no way to refute it. This chapter is not over. Please click on the next page to continue reading. Therefore, their response strategy was very simple, that is, to stand still for 3 days. If Kunlun Holy Land did not come to the door after 3 days, it means that Kunlun Holy Land was bluffing and had no confidence to attack Qingshu Sword sect. At that time, they will use the power of thunder to kill those people in Kunlun Holy Land and restore the prestige of Qingshu Sword sect. 3 days is a short time for practitioners, and it passes in the blink of an eye, but everyone was having a hard time, and we never thought that 3 days could be so long. Amidst the expectations of countless people, 3 days finally passed and the 4th day came. In the most luxurious attic of Xuanhuan Tower, Ye Chen was supervising the cultivation of his 3 disciples. The entire Xuanhuan Tower was enveloped by his formation, and a super spirit gathering array was arranged to gather the spiritual energy of the surrounding heaven and earth. Although this kind of cultivation environment is far from the Kunlun Holy Land, it is still usable. But it was this kind of training environment that Ye Chen thought was ordinary, but the members in Xuanhuan Tower took advantage of it. The entire Xuanhuan Tower, from the servants to the maids, from the guards to the stewards, including all the geishas, were intoxicated, and many people broke through. Among the penthouses, Su Jian had the lowest level, so he made breakthroughs more frequently. 3 days ago, he was only at the 1st level of the foundation building stage, but now he is at the 5th level of the foundation building stage. This kind of cultivation speed is really astonishing. After Gu Yingluo awakened the supreme immortal body, her strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Now she has reached the peak of the foundation establishment stage and may reach the golden core stage at any time. Mu Yan is the strongest, from the original 4th level of the golden elixir stage to the 5th level of the golden elixir stage. The three of them opened their eyes together, feeling the majestic sea-like spiritual power in their bodies, and they were all very satisfied. The most excited person is Su Jian. This feeling of controlling power is so wonderful. 3 days have passed. It seems that they have stopped coming to us. Let's go and appease their injured hearts, Ye Chen said with a smile, then got up and left with 3 disciples. He, Kunlun Holy Land, pays attention to convincing people with reason, and he believes that the Qingshu Sword sect will be convinced. Chapter 30 The Reasonable Kunlun Holy Land. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Outside Xuanhuan, countless people had gathered to watch the show. Seeing the 4 masters and apprentices appear, they all perked up and followed them from a distance. What surprised them was that Ye Chen did not go directly to Qingshu Sword sect, but got a huge plaque from somewhere. There were 8 words written on it: Kunlun Holy Land, convince people with reason. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Su Jian and Mu Yan were carrying it at both ends. Everyone was confused. What were the 4 masters and apprentices going to do? Convince people with reason? Take a look at it yourself. Do you believe it? Slap everyone to death with 1 slap, and then say that you convince people with reason, right? I don't believe you. At first, they only dared to follow 500 miles away, and did not dare to get closer. After all, everyone has seen Ye Chen's fierceness. Later, some people gradually became bolder and were safe and sound even within 10 miles. More people followed suit and followed Ye Chen and his 4 companions. Mu Yan, who was responsible for holding up the plaque, always felt a little ashamed, and he didn't know why. Su Jian looked serious. He felt that his master was personally teaching him the purpose of Kunlun Holy Land. That's right, Kunlun Holy Land convinces people with reason. They are still reasonable, not murderers. Ye Chen was not in a hurry to get on the road. He wanted to spread the name of Kunlun Holy Land more widely. After most of the day, they finally arrived above Qingshu Sword sect. Remember, we are reasonable and will not break through other people's mountain gates casually unless we can't help it. Ye Chen also turned around to teach his 3 disciples. Several people nodded seriously, feeling that they had learned a lot of life philosophy from their master. Qingshu Sword sect had already noticed their arrival in advance. Thousands of disciples gathered in front of the mountain gate, as if they were facing a great enemy. More than a dozen figures with powerful auras flew high into the sky, facing Ye Chen and the other 4 from a distance. Ancestor, they are really here. How should we deal with them? The newly elected acting clan leader nervously asked for help from the 3 Tribulation Crossing ancestors beside him. The 3 Tribulation Crossing ancestors did not respond immediately, but carefully observed Ye Chen's aura, trying to find out his true and false. The huge divine sense covered the past and fell on Ye Chen without any hindrance. One of the ancestors felt strange. The boy seemed to have no fluctuations, but seemed to have reached the Tribulation Crossing stage. He should be at the peak of the Mahayana stage. But another ancestor gave a different answer. Isn't that right? I found out that he should be at the peak of the fusion stage, isn't he? The 3rd ancestor was also confused. Why did the 3 of them detect different fluctuations from the same person? Who is right? There is something wrong with this boy. His cultivation is definitely not at the fusion stage, otherwise how could he kill so many fusion stage masters with 1 strike? The biggest possibility is the peak of the Mahayana stage, or even the Tribulation stage. As for our perception errors, it should be that he has some secret method or treasure to cover up his aura, which misled us. The 1st ancestor gave the most reasonable analysis seriously, and was also recognized by the other 2 ancestors. As long as the other party is not a true immortal, it will be easy to deal with. With the support of the ancestors, the acting sect master became more confident and flew to the front to face Ye Chen and others from a distance. Bold thief! You killed so many people in my sect, and it would be fine if you didn't run away, but you dared to come to my door. I think you are about to die. that the acting sect master's voice was loud and spread throughout the world, and he released a trace of sword intent from his body, with an imposing aura. Ye Chen smiled and said, "The former leader of your sect was overbearing and arrogant. I believe many people dislike him. Getting rid of him will not only comply with public opinion, but also prevent him from bringing greater disasters to your sect in the future." When these words came out of his mouth, everyone thought they had heard wrongly. It was clearly him who slapped the man to death. How did it seem like he was acting on behalf of heaven? The people of Qingshu Sword Sect were even more furious, feeling humiliated by Ye Chen. "You killed the man, how could you say such high-sounding words?" The acting leader's chest rose and fell violently, as exaggerated as a bellows, and the anger in his eyes almost erupted. Ye Chen seemed to be blind and comforted himself, "So, you can rest assured that the rat shit will not spoil the whole pot of soup. We are not unreasonable people. Although we have helped you a lot, we will not be proud of our achievements." After these words, the people of Qingshu Sword Sect were so angry that they almost bit their back teeth. The acting clan leader could not control his breath and was shaking with anger. Today you can't leave," that the acting clan leader roared, and his violent breath finally rushed out like a volcanic eruption. Such a terrifying force made the large group of people following behind pale and sweating. Only Ye Chen still smiled and said friendly, "Ha ha ha, your clan is really enthusiastic. Do you want to keep us as guests?" "That's not necessary. I just came to collect some fees. After taking the fees, I have to go to the other two." Ye Chen's words made everyone confused. Collect fees? What fees? What is he talking about? "We helped you clean up the family and maintain the good reputation of Qingshu Sword Sect. Shouldn't you pay some fees? Are you still being reasonable?" Ye Chen explained patiently. "This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content." It's okay that he didn't explain. As soon as he finished speaking, the acting sect leader's eyes widened. He was so angry that he vomited blood, and his breath suddenly became weak. You shameless person," that the acting sect leader pointed at Ye Chen tremblingly, beginning to doubt life. The jaws of all the melon eaters were about to drop to the ground. They couldn't believe that he was still charging. Euphemistically called cleaning the door. Where is the logic in this? Off the mark. The entire Qingshu Sword Sect's disciples and elders were even more furious. They all pulled out their swords and threatened to fight Ye Chen to the death. One of the ancestors couldn't bear it anymore and immediately appeared high in the sky with an ugly expression on his face. "My son, you killed people from our Qingshu Sword Sect, and now you come to humiliate us. I will definitely take your life today." This ancestor had a bad temper, and the power of his cultivation during the Tribulation Period erupted directly from his body, covering the entire world. Countless people have been suppressed by this coercion, and there is no way they can stay in the sky. Even the three masters of Jubao Tianzong, Master Haran Pavilion, and Master Ingyue, who were hiding in the void far away to watch the show, turned pale and their eyes were full of fear. "It's the ancestor of Xianjian. He's the ancestor of Xianjian. I knew he must not be dead yet. What a terrifying power. He must have reached the realm of true immortals, right? This is the foundation of Qingshu Sword Sect. It will be difficult for Kunlun Holy Land to end this time." The three sect leaders who were watching the show couldn't help shouting after they recognized that the old man was a powerful swordsman who was famous in the Luoyue realm 10,000 years ago.